Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And I just burped like really loud. But do me a favor and hit that like button because that's how you get ants. And we're carrying our first OTF. So we have got the Lightning OTF here, and let's take a look at what we're holding because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I love you. So, first things first, and importantly, the pocket clip is tipped down, and I hate tipped down, but we all live in sin. However, I'm willing to forgive it because that's how OTFs work the best. We have got, I believe, aluminum right here. It's painted on the body of the knife. We have got the double action thumb slide right here. And we got 3 1/4 inches of 440 steel. Okay, so this was a gift from Adam for America, so let's take a second to thank him for making this happen. And I've been wanting to play around with an OTF for a long time. OTFs are just cool. They're just cool. They're not the most practical thing in the world. They're not the most durable thing in the world, but they're just really, really cool. I could sit here and do this all day. However, the wife would beat me to death with a sock full of 9-volt batteries if I kept doing that for too long in the same room as her. So, you know, and you guys have been asking me to carry an OTF for a while too. So I know you guys are going to be kind of excited to see this. And, you know, the Lightning OTF, I believe these are about $50. They are reportedly the best bang for your buck possible in the budget OTF arena. The 440 steel, that's a little bit of reason to pause because they only say 440. They don't identify it as A, B, or C. They just identify it as 440. So usually that means the lowest tier of the 440. They just don't want to admit it openly. So I'm expecting that the edge retention on it's not going to be the best, but it's, again, a fully functional OTF with a smooth enough action and a little bit of side-to-side blade play, but nothing too crazy for an OTF as far as I can tell. I have handled some nicer OTFs that have had about the same amount of blade rattle on them, so I assume that's not terrible. You know, I am certainly no OTF-onomist. This is the first OTF that I have had my hands on as far as an owner. And I've only handled like 1 or 2 OTFs aside from this one, at least double action. I've got that Schrade Viper that's a single action, but I'm going to tell you right now, I do not like the way that thing is set up. I genuinely do not like that thing at all, partly because it's really, really hard to open and close one-handed. Double action is the way to go. So, you know, I am excited about carrying this. I got a feeling it's probably going to be a little bit awkward in the pocket just because I am a little scared that the first few times I'm going to reach in and accidentally deploy this thing. Like, it's really hard to accidentally deploy this. You know, you got a very stiff thumb slide here, which is kind of the same as the nicer one that I handled. But, you know, there is a little bit of safety, like, you know, you get that right there. I keep hitting the light. So, you know, you hit that and it stops the blade and, you know, you can just flick the blade really hard and get it back on the track, which is really cool. Now, if you've got guys that are handling one of these and accidentally do that with it and the blade is loose and sliding around, it's going to scare them, but, you know, back in business. So let's take a look at the edge on this. I think it's the factory edge, but I could be wrong. This might be the factory edge. It might have been touched up after the fact. I believe Adam got this thing used. But, oh my God, that is nice. That is very, very, very nice. I do like the edge that's on it right now. You know, and of course, I can't say with any confidence that this is the factory edge. With the cut being that nice, I got a feeling it might not be. It might have been sharpened after the fact. But let's get the edge sharpness tester out, which was kindly provided by you guys through your channel memberships, your super chat donations, what have you. As always, thank you for that. I will always be grateful for the support. And let's go ahead and get a test clip out. Now, which bag did I grab? The open one or the not open one? I grabbed the open one on the first try. You guys, it's a rarefied day today. But how it works, if you haven't seen one of these before, somehow, it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through the wire in this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. And it's not the most scientific thing on the planet. It just gives you a ballpark idea where it is and quantifies something that's otherwise hard to quantify on camera. So let's fire the boy up. All right, one sample. 274. Okay, so that's where the paper cut doesn't always tell you the whole story just because you can have a high number like that, because that is a high number. That is a high number, but you know, an edge that is a little toothier and a little bit different than the kind of fine push cutty edges that I like, can cut the paper and belie the actual sharpness compared to other edges. So I got a 188 on that. So, like, you can also tell, if you move back and forth, there's some variance in the edge sharpness, especially, you know, with stuff like this. It may have been manually sharpened. You will run into some variance, and that's part of why I say it's not the most scientific thing on the planet, but you're only testing an area as wide as this wire is thick. So we got like a 188 and a 270, so it's definitely on the rougher end, but it should still do fine while I'm carrying it. Of course, I am looking forward to showing this thing off at work. You know, this is one where definitely going to impress non-knife guys, but guys that are out into the weeds on this hobby won't be super impressed by it just because Lightning OTF has a reputation for being very cheap. Everything feels solid on this one. It doesn't feel as cheap as it is because I think they were like a little under 50 bucks. You can get some that are closer to 40 bucks the last time I really scoured the website. But, you know, it should be a solid toy. It should be a lot of fun to carry. It should be a lot of fun to use and a lot of fun to show off. I have seen somewhere, and I'm not sure, I'm not sure of the veracity of the claim. I've only seen someone mention it once, but they said Lightning OTF is just cheap clones of other more expensive knives. I haven't seen another OTF that looks like this in any of my Faceballs groups or on any of the other online places I visit. You know, because there's Reddit, there's Faceballs, there's Instagram, there's a lot of places where I'm scanning, and I'm looking for stuff that interests me that I want to show you guys on the channel. So, yeah, if one of you guys knows if this is a clone of anything, please let me know. I am definitely very interested. One thing that's going to be fun is doing Cardboard Slayer with this. Again, with that 440, I imagine the edge retention is not going to be the best, but we should be able to get through it. And I'm curious to see how the innards of this stand up to a lot of cardboard dust that happens during Cardboard Slayer. Because if you don't know, we do Cardboard Slayer, and there's a ton of dust that gets generated. It gets in my sinuses, it gets in bearings, it gets in, it gets in the action of a knife really bad. A lot of knives need to be oiled and opened and closed a bunch to work all the oil out because I don't want to take them apart. So at some point, I'll probably have to take this thing apart and learn how these things work and learn how to clean it out and put it back together. I'm not doing that until I have to because I don't like having to learn new things. Like, how dare you try to make me learn something? So, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I've been delaying the gratification, but this week's the week. So, I can't think of a lot else to say about this thing right now outside of I expect it to be a lot of fun. I expect it to be a pretty good carry. I don't expect to accidentally deploy it in my pocket trying to dig keys out, but, who knows? I'm going to get poked a little bit if I do, but it won't be anything catastrophic. So, this is the Lightning OTF. This is what we're carrying this week, and I've been looking forward to it for a while now. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. You keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got regular videos. We got live streams. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this. Let's say thank you to Adam for America. And now we're going to plug some products from friends of the channel. They're not affiliate links. I don't make any money off them. There are Amazon links that are affiliate links that I keep forgetting that I've added. But support your friends. And here you go. And as always, we are going to link up to Cutting Lacey DC's Diamond Emulsion if you want to step your stropping game up, make it easier to sharpen your blades, and keep them sharp. Wonderful product. I use it myself on every single knife I sharpen now. And we are going to link up to Mad Yocco's Wax. If you want to protect your blades that are prone to corrosion, if you want to darken up the color of your micarta, or take care of a million other things, he is going to be on Blade Binge with his wax. All right, just supporting some friends of the channel and some small businesses. All right, y'all have a nice day.